You know what, Kobe?
What's that, Barry?
We don't have a lot of things that we care about. It's my Nick Cage.
So, somebody out there is gonna know from that.
What's going on, guys? My name is Barry,
This is Colby.
and this is Who Watched This.
Theme music.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the last month of Epic Comeback Month. It's been called so many things this month. You know, the re-return,
The re-return.
comeback kids. And I feel like it was my month to choose all the movies, and I've been choosing a couple here and there, of some pretty epic comebacks, but the last one I felt like it wasn't. It's more of a comeback to the mainstream,
Mm-hmm.
but he's never left.
Right.
He has
Right.
too much debt to leave. He loves too many strange things. And strange things are usually expensive.
Yes, they are.
Oh man. And it's funny because I swore, I was like, did we do this? But as I was looking through our catalog, I was like, I don't think we did. Or maybe there's a month I haven't posted yet. That if that is the case, then I'll let you know, and then we'll just do something else for that.
Oh no, we'll post it twice, and then you can see two different reviews of the same movie, and you can compare the two.
Right? Maybe it's probably been almost a year, possibly. So it might be a totally different review, but I don't know. But no, let's get to our first section so you guys can know exactly what we're talking about. It's the Rhymefest trailer. Here we go. He was chefing, but still be cooking until his pet got tooken. Now he out wicking it up. What's this ex-chef cooking up? Let's see what he can find out and what he digs in the 2011 movie Pig. I was in a hurry writing this at work. I was like, oh, I forgot I had to make a trailer.
It worked.
I know, but it feels like a
You
little
pulled it together.
disjointed, though. I was like, it's not as smooth. Usually these Rhymefest trailers are Billy D. Williams smooth.
You just needed to lower your voice.
But yeah, today we're going to be talking about the 2021 Nick Cage film, Pig, who I gotta say, I think I've said this before to you, off recording. I thought this was just John Wick with Nicolas Cage and a pig.
It was right. No, that's what I expected, and I really went into the first time I watched it. I went in totally blind, just no clue, and
you're like, oh my god, they took his pig. He's gonna John Wick everybody. Yeah, and it's funny too because it's weird to say that this is a comeback movie because I think previously Nick Cage had some pretty decent films coming out beforehand, which really what come to mind is Color Out of Space and Mandy.
right. But they were still both pretty.
Those pretty niche.
Yeah.
Even though those are really good movies, they're good movies for the genre that they're in because those are sci-fi horror films.
Right.
But I feel like Pig kind of Nicolas Cage is acting again.
Right. Yeah, because he did a bunch of movies where it was kind of, even though he doesn't ever phone it in,
Yeah.
he always goes full out, but there was a handful of movies that were just he owed somebody a favor. You know, like
Oh, fine,
he
I'll
was
be in
working
your
off the
movie.
last couple movies off of like a contract
All right.
that had to be, done by the end of the year. So like, yeah,
But like,
he's always great, but he was in some less than stellar movies.
yeah, no, and like it's funny because I feel like because of Pig, we got the what is it? The the incredible weight of Nicolas Cage or something like that.
Oh, of unbearable weight of massive talent.
And I feel like because Pig came out, they're like, oh, he's acting at it. He's like, all right, cool, and then we'll do this, and we have like not the new kid on the block, but the hottest ticket right now, which is like, was it Pablo? Oh gosh,
Pedro.
Pedro Pascal,
Yeah.
who is like the big name right now, right? But no, like I remember watching this trailer, and it's so funny because after I watched this film, I was like, I marketed it to my best friend. He's like, yeah, dude, it's like John Wick, but it's a pig. And so we ended up watching the movie, and after the movie got in, he's like, that was nothing like John Wick. But
It's strange because it's not anything like John Wick, but that is the movie that like
that would happen in real life.
best correlates with this. Like if somebody's like, "What is it?" You're like, "It's kind of like John Wick," because it is and it isn't.
Yeah. It's like the most realistic depiction of what would happen if somebody killed or like someone stole your pet, right?
Yeah.
But like let's get into this movie so we can talk about more of like our thoughts on it and everything at the end. So this movie starts off with like a beautiful over landscape shot of some wooded areas. We don't know where it exactly is at this point.
Right. Yeah.
But we see Nicolas Cage living in a cabin, and he does like his little whistle, and then this little pig comes up, and it's like,
It's way bigger than a little pig.
Yeah. But it's like a little brown pig, it's like it's a pig, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a healthy pig. And like and it seems like they're just like going out for a walk, but you're like, oh yeah, pigs don't just go for walks. He has a job. And I think it was like before, like it was a couple years before this movie. I was like, there's truffle pigs.
Yeah. Right.
But it seems like, that is what they're doing. The pig is sniffing out the truffles and he's digging it up. And I was like, oh, this is how you get truffles? That's crazy. You never think about where the ingredients come from, right? You're like, it comes from the supermarket.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, like, he's buying things that we can't afford. Like this beautiful truffle that he picks up is probably like $4 or $5 grand. Like, who would have thought? But no, like he gets home and he starts preparing like this like beautiful looking little feast for him and his pig.
Right.
And
but still, it's in a cabin, so he's kind of doing it over like.
It's like that TikTok guy that does all that food stuff over like beautiful landscapes.
Yeah.
But he's not like violating the food like that guy does. Have you ever seen those videos?
Yeah.
He's always like putting a slit in the meat and then he's like fingering it. It's like, Jesus Christ. Who's this for? But no, this is like very like rustic type of cooking. Very, and it looks delicious, right? And as he's kind of like chilling with his pig, they're eating. All of a sudden, the guy from Hereditary comes.
Right. Yep.
In his Camaro, and it seems like they're doing business. He what's it called? The guy in the Camaro brings up a whole bunch of groceries and everything, and he gives them a cooler full of truffles. It's like he probably has this cooler probably costs like it's holding like 20-30 grand worth of truffles.
Right. Yeah. And I. To me, I'm like, who's buying truffles for that much? But it's big business.
Yeah, the culinary, the fine arts or fine dining worlds. Just give me a smash burger, I'm good. with some shiitake mushrooms. Those are the mushrooms I can afford, you know.
Right. Oh, shiitake mushroom. That's $3. Yes.
Yes.
I will pass
Portobello
on the $400 mushrooms.
for like a quarter of the mushroom.
Right. For slice.
Yeah, but so like it seems like they have like this little deal going on. It's funny because this character, what do you have his name pulled up? Jesus, yeah, the guy from Hereditary, Full-Time Rush. He's
Alex Wolff.
Alex Wolff,
and he's Amir in this. In
Amir, movie. And then Nicolas Cage is Rob. Rob Feld. So yeah, like Amir is trying to talk to him, trying to kind of sort of establish more of a friendly relationship, but Rob is just like, here's your truffles, bye.
Yeah. Right, because he's like, hey, did you want me to bring you like one of those little portable showers, the little bag that heats up in the sun and you could rinse off?
Yeah, because man, when you see Nicolas Cage, he looks he just looks like a mountain man, but it's just like, but you can tell there's like a layer of just dirt on it.
Yeah. And it's a cabin, but it's not hey, fancy Airbnb cabin. It's
he's not glamping,
like hunting cabin.
Yeah, Grizzly Adams type of like pioneer looking cabin. Like he might catch dysentery at some point. But no, and it's so like, yeah, they have like a pretty cool, but it's just like a pretty symbiotic relationship or whatever it is. It's what's it called? Like it's a two-way thing, right? But obviously Amir's trying to build it, but he's just like, all right, bye, Amir.
Right. So yep. See you next Thursday.
Yeah, see you next Thursday. And then so like the sort of like a couple of days like a day passes, but that night when he's like getting he before the night comes, he listens to a tape that says like for Rob.
Right, but just a little touch.
Yeah.
Of the tape, and then he like stops it. It's all sad and takes it out.
Yeah, but you hear like a woman's voice, so you're like, oh, okay, it's probably his wife who possibly passed away.
Right.
Because he never really finished. He starts the tape for like 5-10 seconds and he turns it off. Yeah. Yeah, it's very Guardians of the Galaxy 1. But when he starts to get ready for bed, his like pig has like a little bed next to him, and it's all good. But it like towards like maybe 2 to 3 in the morning, he hears like rustling outside, and he's like, "What the hell is going on?" Because like when you're like in the woods, there's like very few type of sounds that you're used to hearing.
Right. Yeah. You know what a bird sounds like. You'll
like sleep through the nature sounds.
Yeah.
But you hear a car come and you're like, what the hell is this?
Right. Well, especially you're out in the middle of nowhere.
And then so he looks up and all of a sudden someone busts through the door. They like smack him with his cast iron skillet.
Yep.
A couple times, and they take his pig. And at first he kind of firms the first smack, and he's like, "Give me back my pig." And then they smack him again, and it's kind of like that has to be like attempted murder.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yeah.
I've held
battery.
Yeah, I've held cast iron skillets. Like your forearm gets tired. Even like the small ones, you're like, ow. But the morning comes, and he's been laid out the whole night. There's like a pool of liquid, possibly his blood, a little bit of his blood, a little bit of drool and everything, and he's like,
right,
I gotta go get my pig. And so he has like an old car that he's probably hasn't like started in like years.
Oh, right. It's covered with a tarp, but it's still, it's he has stuff brought to him that he trades truffles for, but you gotta
run that thing every week at least. Like just turn it on, like let it like warm up and then kind of cycle through, and then you can turn it back off. But
especially an old car,
yeah,
like fluid's all puddle.
Yeah, that thing doesn't make it past like 200
no
yards. Well, no, he put fuel in it. He had like gas tanks.
Right, but it's no fuel injection.
Oh.
So like, yeah, if it just sits in there, it's
that thing didn't make it past that thing didn't make like half a football field. It was like 50, 60 yards and it craps out. So he ends up walking to a diner. And it's like the closest diner to like his home. And he's all like, "Where's Ruth?" And she's like, "Ruth's been dead for 10 years." And she's like, "Do you want something?"
We laugh.
Yeah.
This is filmed in like the most serious way.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing funny about this.
But like this movie's beautifully shot too. Like the color grading for this movie, like the shots, the angles. It's like I love this movie, but it's just such a funny moment to me. It's and he's like, "Can I use your phone?" And she's like, "Ugh," because she's looking at this
ordering
guy.
breakfast, and he's like, "No."
But you're also like, I don't want to argue with this homeless person.
Right, and that totally could be what it is. Yeah.
You're like, let me just give him the phone.
He's dirty and unshaven for a year.
Yeah, and he's bloodied too. So you're like,
right, yeah, because he got hit in the forehead with a
freaking cast iron skillet. So you're just like, oh, maybe she's probably just gonna call the cops or like a hospital, whatever. But he calls Amir.
Yeah,
and Amir, it's funny. Like when he you look at his passenger side, he's like covered it with like a tarp, like how you would cover it for a dog that like sheds. And the funniest thing is like as they drive throughout this movie, as much as Amir complains about his smell from the beginning of the movie, he like the windows are up.
You're right. Yeah.
But it's funny. So like he's like, how I don't know how this is my problem, right? Because he's told Amir what had happened.
Right. Yeah.
And Nick Cage or if Rob is like, "I don't have no pig. You don't have no truffles."
Right. You like driving this car and wearing these fancy shirts.
Yeah.
If I don't have no pig, you don't have no truffles.
Yeah, you don't have business, bro. And so he's like, "Oh, fuck." All right. So like he starts to drive him into the city. And like at first it's kind of like it's a weird he's like, "Where are you asking me to take you?" Because he's like Amir's like, "This is my city," you know what I mean? Like,
well, first they go and see there's like another camp of truffle hunters.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, so they go to this other camp because Rob knows it's probably like they have like territories, right?
Right. Yeah.
He's like, "This is my part of the forest. That's yours. I won't ever encroach on yours. Just don't encroach on mine." Situation. And so like they kind of suss him out. Like, "Hey, you got two meth head looking people with you, with like a green like Chevy truck from the '60s." And so she's super pissed because she thinks like they're trying to encroach on her business.
Right.
Because they stole.
Yeah, because he's like, she's like, I don't know. I've seen the car. I don't care. It's I haven't seen it lately. And he's like, "They stole my pig." And she's like, "Oh, son of a bitch."
Yeah. They stole my pig.
Come on, let's go find them. I know right where they're at.
And so, yeah, she's obviously like, like these two meth head looking couple. They're like, "Oh, we want to thank you so much, like Summer, for like giving us a spot," And she's like, "You motherfuckers are gonna try to encroach on my shit. I'm gonna fuck you up." And they're like, "No, it wasn't us." And then Nick Cage is like, "Where's my pig?" It's almost like I feel like that was like I feel like he was practicing his like Batman voice for a minute.
Oh, right, yeah. No, it's ominous.
Yeah.
I mean, like even though he's like a skinny homeless person, you're like, oh, yeah, okay, somebody paid us to steal your pig.
Yeah, and then plus they're like, you have to know that I could just call the cops and tell them how you tried to murder me, basically.
Right.
So give me the information. So like they kind of like give him like a general sense of like what happened, but they don't know who the person who like issued them for the job, right?
Right.
And so Rob is like, well, there's only a specific group that would want a fucking truffle pig. And it's like the culinary world of Portland.
Right.
Because that's where they are. So Rob, you know, they're driving into the city, but Amir, that's where Amir's like, this is my city, you know, like my name is like really important here. I don't want you to like go all Grizzly Adams on these people, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But Rob
I
is
have a
like,
reputation to withhold because I am the truffle dealer.
yeah, I'm the truffle king. And so Rob is like, yeah, okay, whatever, kid. And so he tells him to go to like where there's like a food truck situation happening. And he picks up some food and he goes into this tent. And he's like, he looks at this guy. The guy like notices him and he's like, you're not important anymore.
Right. Yeah. 10 years ago, you know, your name held weight, but nowadays,
nobody.
You're a nobody.
Nobody fucking knows who you are, right? And so Rob obviously is super fucking pissed that he's not going to get the information he needs. They go to the hotel. Was it Hotel Portland or something like that?
Yeah.
Which is like buried in this other restaurant. And Amir is like, I'm fucking done, dude. And he's like, because you're not putting me in the loop. I don't know what's going on.
Right. And when they're leaving the other tent, the other guy's like, do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Do you even know his name?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, his name's Rob. What?
He's like, you have no idea, kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And Amir's like, that's Greg. That's like, he's like a big name.
Right.
Like, you know, like culinary world. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, how do you know Greg?
Yeah. So you can, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. They really don't explain any connection or how any of these relationships get built. It's just, you're kind of just thrown into it. So that's cool. I like that.
And it's interesting. They put the story out in like chapters.
Yeah.
But like the chapters are all like the names of like fancy cuisine.
Oh yeah. It's like fancy foods, you know. But yeah, so they go to this other restaurant, which is like really the entrance to like this underground hotel situation.
Right.
And like when they get there, after like Rob kind of lets them in onto what's going on, they get to like this underground situation, and you see like these restaurant workers beating up homeless people. I was like, is this like a Fight Club situation? You know? But all of a sudden, Nicolas Cage goes up there and he kind of like wipes like the freaking box, like the cardboard like little chalkboard thing that they have, and he puts his full name. It was like, what is it, Robin Feld or Robert Feld?
Robert? Yeah.
Yeah. And like the people kind of get quiet, and then all of a sudden,
they're like they're in the know. They are, because it's all.
There's a fucking legend.
Like it's a weird like. This is the place that maitre d's get to beat up, take out all their frustration from horrible
customers and like
homeless people.
Yeah, and like being probably degraded by their, you know, whatever, the chefs or whatever. And that's the kind of sense that you get, right? And so when he puts up his name, like people start to lay down tickets.
Yeah.
And it gets bigger and bigger until it gets to the biggest, who you're like, these are probably people that have worked under him.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly, right? Because it's like,
the guy comes in with some animosity in his eyes.
Because like at this point you're kind of like, okay, he's probably like, you know, when he first meets Greg, he's like, oh, he was something to somebody to like this town, right? And then when you get here, you're like, you're seeing all these people like after their shifts, you know, being like waiters or servers, just beating up homeless people, like taking out their frustrations and stuff. And so the people that probably put like these papers down have worked for him. And just hold a like bear a grudge. And man, this like very Simon Pegg looking dude just absolutely beats the shit out of him.
Right. And the guy the
Greg
ring announce or whatever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a minute.
Yeah.
But he lets it
Yeah, it's like a minute and a
drag
half.
extra, yeah, at least an extra
Yeah.
10, 15 seconds.
And you gotta know that Rob probably shitted on him too
Yep.
back in the day. And so he finally gives him the information, like another sort of lead to
Right, because
find.
you see the other homeless people are like getting paid for making it however long they
Yeah.
make it, and here like he's just like, I don't want the money, I just
Mhm.
want to know where my pig's at.
Yeah. Nem and Greg, where's my pig? But he doesn't give, like, he only knows like a general, like another lead.
Yeah.
And so what's it called? Amir takes him home to his home, and he's like, yeah, he's like, Amir, can you get a reservation at like Fleming's or whatever?
Right, it
Fleming's
was
is like a
something like
different
that.
restaurant. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I could do that. So like the morning comes, he makes him breakfast. He's like, I'm not a fucking chef. So here's some scrambled eggs that are probably aren't to your level of taste. But they have like a little moment there where he talks about like his relationship with his father. He's like, yeah, growing up, my mom and dad always fought, but there was like one night where they had like this amazing dinner. They come back home, they're like laughing, they're giggling, and after he finds out his name, he's like, that was your spot,
Yeah.
and so he's like, that's not me anymore. But she's like, yeah. So he gets, but like after that, he gets the before he can get to the reservation, he goes to one of the people that buys from him,
Right.
I believe. And he's like, hey man, like, and this is kind of where you can kind of tell like Amir, yeah, he's in the business, but he's still pretty wet behind the ears.
Right. Yeah, and you yeah.
Yeah. Cause he's like, oh, like, hey, some people, or you got some friends, you got some connections. Can you get me like a res over there? And he's like, come on, Amir, that place is supplied by your dad.
Yeah.
You can't go there. And he's like, come on, man. And like, he's like, sorry, dude. But he's like, oh, my friend is Robert Feld. And so he kind of like pauses for a second.
Right.
And then the next scene, they're having lunch there,
Right.
and
Yep.
it's so funny because like this server, she's like, oh, she has like this whole spiel that she has to like memorize. She's like, this is a repurposed scallop with this is a local scallop with truffles, and it's being infused with the smoke of cherry wood or.
Right. And then she lifts up a glass and it's like in like a smoke under the glass, and it's like looks like two eggs and like a strawberry or something.
Yeah. It's a hors d'oeuvre. Yeah, it's a hors d'oeuvre. Pretty much that's what it looks like. And he like takes like a little bite, and Rob is like, I want to speak to the chef.
And he is not cleaned up. He's still got the blood on his face. She even says, like, when he says that, I want to talk to the chef, and she's like, can I get you medical attention first?
He's like, no. I want to talk to the chef. And so like the chef comes out, and it's kind of like this like goofy looking guy. He kind of looks like he looks like a specific comedian. I can't put my name on him, but he looks like this comedian that always plays like the very awkward like type of dude.
Yeah,
And like
he kind of the hot pocket that guy.
Jeff Gaffigan.
Yeah.
No, there's another one, but he has like a comb over. He looks like a Mormon. No, but like he's kind of like, oh, thanks guys for coming. I really appreciate that. And then Amir is like, Rob, tell him who you are so we can fucking get this information.
Right.
And so he like slowly looks at him, and Derek, that's the name of the chef, he's like, holy shit. So he sits down and he's like, oh, Rob, I used to work for you. I don't think you remember. And Rob is like, yeah, you worked for me for 2 months. You always overcooked the pasta, so I fired you.
Yep.
And he's like, holy, yeah, you remember me. And then Rob starts to like almost, it's like this psychological breakdown of this guy. Because he looks at Derek and he's like, What is this, Derek? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, what the fuck? What is the theme of this restaurant? He's like, well, we take local ingredients and then we make these into dishes that like feel familiar but like aren't,
Yeah, we deconstruct
Yeah, well,
popular meals to make them new and exciting.
yeah, and it's like unknown, And he's like, what the hell, man? And he's like, this isn't real. You're not real. I'm not real. This place isn't real. Uh, Like, okay, when I fired you, I asked you what you wanted. What was the restaurant you wanted? You wanted a pub, right?
Yeah, an Irish pub.
Yeah, or like yeah, or Irish or English, whatever, right? And he's like, no, nobody wants a pub. He's like, Derek, what was the dish that you wanted to do? And he's like, no one wants that. He's like, Derek, what is the dish? And he like spits it out. It's like deviled eggs over curry or whatever.
Right. With a liver or something.
Yeah, it's like but it's a very Irish or English or whatever kind of dish it is. And he, as he says that, he like looks at him. He says like he's staring deep into his soul, and he's like, "Now, come on, Derek, tell me who took my pig." And he's like, God, you don't want to make him mad. And he's like, and then he looks at Amir because he knows who Amir is.
Right.
And he's like, oh, it's his dad. Amir knows it's his dad.
Right. At least at that point he does.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and after that they kind of leave. Derek is in shambles. Because he knows like what he's done. It's very like it's just to fit into the scene.
In that conversation was our opening quote where it's like you only get a few things in life
that you can care about, and that's what really breaks him down. So like as they leave, Derek's in shambles. He knows like everything that he's done up to this point in his culinary career has been a farce.
Right.
So yeah, they leave though, and he's like, damn it, Amir, give me your father's address. And he starts to beat up on the Camaro a little bit. He's like, stop, please. And he's like, fine, here. It's like 230 Forest Drive or some shit like that, right? But he's like, he doesn't want to help him.
Right. He's like, yeah, but if you're going to go talk to him, you're doing it on your own.
Yeah. And so they kind of split up. But it's funny because like Nicolas Cage, first he like, as he's walking, he stops by this house.
Yeah.
And
this cute little house.
Yeah. And he just walks into the backyard. It totally reminded, and then like as he walks into the backyard, there's like this little kid that's like playing with a fire truck or something. Oh no,
he's like a little drum.
Pan.
Yeah.
It's a hand pan.
Yeah.
And then it totally reminded me of the scene from Dennis the Menace when like Christopher Lloyd as he's a homeless person, he's like creeping up in his backyard. But he's he's like, oh, that's a interesting toy, and he's like, yep, it's a hand pan, boom, 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 and he like sits down next to this kid. I was like, where's this kid's parents? And he's talking to this kid, and he's like, oh, is there still a persimmon tree?
Well, he said I used to live here.
Yeah. He lets the kid know, I used to live here. Is there still the persimmon tree? And he's like, what's a persimmon? It's a very like a kid like answer. And he's like, what does he say? He like describes what a persimmon is, right?
Right, yeah.
And he's like, I don't think we have a persimmon tree. And he's like, oh, okay. And he just like leaves. But he gets to what's called Amir's dad's house. Meanwhile, Amir, after telling, well, like, what's it called? When they were having the little breakfast in the morning, he tells Amir, like, no, my mom committed suicide.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, when he goes to a hospice. And you're like, oh, his mom didn't die, though. Right? But, like, he's outside his mom's, like, door, and he's like, hey, Mom, I met the chef, the chef that, made that dinner for you and Dad, where the last time I remember you being happy. He doesn't open the door. He's just talking through the door. And he's like, I really wish Dad would let you go. And I was like, oh man, this is This is heavy.
Right.
This is top tier acting right now. But meanwhile, like, yeah, Rob goes to, to his dad's house, and he's looking for the pig, and it's a very tense moment where they're like, these two men are sitting across from each other, and Amir's dad is like, I'm gonna send you 25 to your little fucking shack that you live in,
Yeah.
and you could buy a new fucking pig.
Right.
Right. But if I ever see you back in this town type of situation, I'm gonna kill your pig.
Right. Yeah. Because you think that all the restaurants in here, but you're selling to them, but you've been selling to me because I run everything.
Yeah, and because he's like trying to say, he's like, yeah, Amir, he's not cut out for this business. He's too soft.
Yeah, one day I'll get him a job, working at a desk somewhere, because that's all he's ever going to be able to do.
Yeah, he's just, yeah. And so, yeah, it's a super tense moment, but so, like, Rob ends up leaving, and Amir's there, and he's like, I figure you need a ride.
Yeah.
And then so, like, Rob and him...
And there's all those, like, little punch marks in the side of his, in his car, because you hadn't seen that side where he got...
But Rob and him have another little moment, like, kind of, Rob is now understanding of where, like, Amir is kind of grown up with.
Right.
This very, like, dominating father type of person. And so he's just like, I don't need the pig. I don't need the pig to find truffles. He's like, how do you find truffles? And he's like, the trees will tell you.
Yeah.
You can tell by the trees where good truffles will be at. And he's just like, well, why did we do all this? He's just like, it's my pet, man.
Yeah, I love that pig.
And like, it's funny because he had like made this comment. He's like, you probably fuck your pig. And he's like, I don't fuck the pig, dude. Like, it's just my pet. Jesus. Like, it's like such an asshole thing to say. But it's just like, it's your pet, man. It's like, it keeps me company. Keeps me sane. It's my Wilson, And he's like, all right, how about we do this? I need you to drop me off somewhere. I'm going to give you a list of things. I need you to go get them. And he's like, I can't get all these. He's like, just use my name. And so,
right. He's like, what? I can drop your name? Like, yeah.
Like, yeah. And so, like, yeah. And so, like, Rob gets dropped off at this little, like, quaint shop. It's a bakery. Meanwhile, Amir is like, he's like scouring the city looking for these ingredients, and he's like dropping his name, and he's like, oh my God, Rob. And so, yeah, he's like able to get like pretty, like, I would assume very expensive ingredients for free.
Right.
And so, but like Rob gets dropped off at this bakery, and like, he kind of like taps the door, and you assume they've probably known each other for a very long time, because like they had this moment where they're sitting in this bakery, and Rob is like, you changed it to a bakery. And she's like, yeah, like, I kept it up for a couple years because I thought maybe you'd come back, but you never did. And I'm a baker, I'm not a chef.
Yeah, you're the chef, I'm a baker.
Yeah. And so he's like, well,
and it hit because it's exactly like what he was saying to the other guy. It's like, you're not this fancy schmancy high end restaurant. You're a pub guy.
Yeah.
Why are you're just being fake, trying to run this expensive restaurant?
Yeah, and that's so real that she's like, I'm a baker, I'm not a chef, dude.
Yep.
And he's like, well, do you still make that salted baguette? She's like, yeah. And he brings him a couple loaves, and he's like, he even makes it's like a little pastry that she makes, and he eats it there. And so like when him and Amir come back together, they're at his dad's house. He's cooking, like, he has like a pheasant and like all these things, and he's cooking this beautiful meal. And like, Amir goes to his dad's office, and he's like, I got food for you. Like, can we sit down and eat? And then Rob comes out. He serves him this like delicious looking thing. This dish probably costs like $225 per plate. It's like one of those dishes. And like they even have like this like special wine that he had gotten.
Yep.
which was strange because he got it at a cemetery.
I-
And the lady's like, "Oh, this is where his wife is laid to rest." And then like she's like, "Don't tell Rob, but I'm saving the spot next to her
right. Yeah.
for him because he'll never take it if you tell him. So I just have it for him." And like, yeah, and then Amir's dad looks like, what is this pathetic, feeble attempt to get this pig back, But he eats a little bit of the food, and you could tell like the look on his face. But as soon as he drinks the wine,
Yeah.
that's where everything kind of ties back together. And then Rob looks at him and he's like, "I remember every person that I've ever served, and I remember everything that I've ever made for them."
Yeah.
And so Amir's dad kind of like, he almost like looks like he's gonna throw up.
Yeah. He totally starts to break down.
And he kind of dashes himself into his study, and Rob goes back to him and he's like, "Get out of here, Rob. Get the fuck out." And you're like, "Yeah, I made you the dish that, you and your wife, the last meal that you guys enjoyed together."
Yeah.
And then
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember it, and I made it exactly the same.
that's skill, man. That's somebody who knows their craft for sure. And Amir's dad kind of breaks down and he's like, "Listen, man, I didn't mean for this to happen, but those fucking meth heads were too rough with your pig."
And by the time it got to me, it was already dead.
Yeah. And Rob breaks down. And everybody in this room feels just terrible. Because they, you kill somebody's pet, man.
Right.
And so Rob kind of just Amir picks Rob up, kind of defeated, gets him into the Camaro, drives to that little diner that like Rob first came, and like that woman is still on her shift. I was like, damn,
Right,
this
yes.
lady is pulling a 12-hour shift. And she's like, "Do you guys want anything?"
And he's like, "What kind of pie do you have?"
She's like,
She's like, "We don't have pie."
which is like a fucking travesty. What kind of diner doesn't have pie?
Exactly. That's exactly, yeah.
So what did they end up getting? Like cheesecake or something?
A brownie and a cup of coffee.
Yeah, which is like, this isn't a pair that should be happening right. This coffee and a pie, like it doesn't matter, pecan, apple pie, whatever.
Right. Yep.
By the way, I'm gonna tell you right now, I absolutely killed that pie that tea made me. I felt so fat afterwards, but I was like, nah, this pie is delicious. No, and so Amir kind of like tries to talk to him, but obviously, Rob's still out of it. But before they split up, like Rob looks at Amir and he's like, "Same time next Thursday?"
Yeah.
And Amir's like, yeah, for sure. And then Rob just ends up walking back to his cabin.
Yeah.
And when he gets into his cabin, obviously it's like by this time it's morning, and he's like looking around the cabin, and everything's disheveled, from the meth heads that came there. And he puts the tape that his wife who had passed away made for him.
Yep.
And he lets it play. And he sits on his bed, and the movie ends right there. All right.
But does it?
Wait, was there a...
There's not really a post-credit
Yeah.
scene, but you have to listen to the tape.
Oh, I did listen to it, but I think it kind of just like it went over my head. What did it
So
say?
he puts the tape in, and she's like, "Hey, I know we're going out to dinner for your birthday,
Oh, yeah.
and it's a really fancy restaurant, and you're gonna hate it, and you're gonna complain about how bad the food is, and I'm gonna get really drunk because it's the only way to deal with you, But before we get there, I always for your birthday, this song always reminds me of you." And then she sings a song.
Uh-huh.
And then when the song is done, you could hear somebody digging, and you could hear a pig in the background.
So yeah, it is very John Wick.
Yeah,
Pigs live for a long time.
they do.
And they're smarter than dogs. Yeah, no, but yeah, before we get to our thoughts about the movie, let's get to our other section, high star, low star. Kobe.
Um, 10 out of 10. A brilliant masterpiece. Extremely low budget, extremely fresh, extremely emotional. What can I say? Welcome back, Nicholas. If this movie doesn't win an Oscar, or just forget just forget that an Oscar is and the value it has had in the past. Just know, with or without an Oscar, this is probably the best movie of the year. The most honest film of the year, the most extraordinary film of the year. It's amazing that there are still people who can make such masterpieces.
And I have man, the one out of tens are brutal. But this one says, crap. These depressing, artsy fartsy movies are brutal to watch. Reviewers pretend they get it, trying to be intellectually superior, but they are not. They are pretenders. This movie was garbage. Depressing, gray, dreary, meaningless. It's 2 hours stolen from your life. The movie's only an hour and 30. Cage is done as an actor. I don't think so, man. This movie, I think, I don't know. It definitely shows. I think, Cage's acting chops are in full bloom in this one. And it's funny, I didn't mention it during the review or the recap, but I love that there was at least one moment where he goes full Cage, and it's when he's stealing the bike, and he just yells at a kid. But to be honest, if Nicolas Cage looked the way he did, and he was stealing my bike, I'm just go ahead, man. Because one of my biggest fears is a homeless person confronting me and then him spitting on me. It's one of the most dangerous things that could happen to you. You know what I mean?
Just hepatitis.
Yeah. Something.
Salmonella, something.
Yeah. Him biting me or spitting on me is my biggest fear. It's no, just take the bike, please. But it's weird because I don't really think it's artsy at all. It's pretty straightforward. The only thing that was a lot of the reviews were talking about is what was up with this underground fighting thing? And I was if you didn't get that, you probably never worked customer service your entire life.
Right. I've worked in restaurants, and if there was a place for me to go punch somebody after some of those frustrating days, I would pay for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've had managers where if I could go and after work punch my manager, I would pay for that too.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how much time has elapsed. If I saw a manager that I hated 10 years later, oh, here's $1,000. Here's $1,000. Let me beat this dude up for 2 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't really anything artsy about that scene. It's just it's just a funny scene. Because how many people have always wished to just either take their frustrations out on a living person, which is it's pretty evil that they're doing this to homeless people.
Right.
That's
also
bad.
you're in these super high end restaurants, it's just all Karens and Daryl's coming in there.
The stress level is high.
Oh, right. And you're making these super high end fancy foods, and anything that's wrong, they're just gonna throw it back in your face. Yeah, that's gotta be the I work pizza places. I remember people complaining about too many bubbles on a pizza and just be get the hell out of here.
Too many bubbles.
But yeah, if you had a meal that was $200 meal,
Yeah.
and then there's something wrong. The foie gras is not as firm as it should be. I don't even know what that is.
Foie gras.
But
I think it's like liver. It's like geese liver or something like that. It's actually pretty delicious. I've had it on a burger. It's the biggest waste of money. That was like $80 for this burger is ridiculous. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't even high end foie gras. Yeah, no.
But like artsy wise, I felt like a lot of the film style was artsy. Like there was some very long takes.
Yeah.
There was some like very beautiful like vantage points. Like there was like the part where he goes and he's talking to the lady who used to work for him at the bakery. It's this really strange camera angle where like you can't really see the two of them talking, but you can see the whole bakery in the shot, and it's like the shot is encasing the bakery and not the two people who you're like paying attention to. And you expect in a movie like to get close-ups of their face as they're talking and flashing back and forth and that kind of thing, and it's just like one long take but from this distant
overhead angle. Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff like that, like especially like at the beginning, like you said, where like you don't even know where you're at and you're getting like almost like a drone shot of like this river and this like wooded area before you finally even meet.
Yeah. And it's
so
funny.
Like when people are saying artsy, I'm thinking that like that film that shooting style is much more artistic.
Yeah. No, I can see that too.
Like it's trying to pull it like emotion through the visual.
Yeah, but I was just like, and it's also like sort of like the con or like the what the film is about. It is like, yeah, it's kind of depressing, but it's also kind of like, yeah, dude, some people can't handle somebody passing.
Right.
Which is like, obviously everybody grieves in their own way, but for some people it absolutely like breaks them. Unfortunately, and it's kind of like you can tell that like Rob's character as a chef, he was, probably this. It's probably like his restaurant from the look of like the bakery. It was very intimate.
Right.
Probably seating 20 people at most, but it's probably booked for months. Type of places, like if he could create food like the way that like Amir had kind of described it to be, and like the amount of like respect that he still holds in there, being gone for 10 plus years,
right,
kind of like lets you know that he's probably fostered the culinary scene from Portland to like this elevated high end dining.
Right.
And so but like obviously his wife passing away spirals him into like where I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to, the person that the person that I really wanted to cook for is gone. So what's the point?
Right. Yeah.
Let me just live in the mountains and just kind of just be away from the noise of what this scene has become, possibly, and all that stuff. And so like it's kind of just like it's a very depressing movie, I think, but it's also like, well, he's still living though. He might be recluse.
Right, and he seems to be enjoying, like truly enjoying what he's doing, even though he's living off the land as a mountain man.
Yeah, and he's still cooking the way he's always cooked for him. Just
right.
Maybe it's just for himself. But if I was Amir, I'm coming every Thursday, and it's like, well, you gotta cook something.
Yeah, I'll come a little early. I'll come for breakfast.
I'll come for breakfast, lunch, or whatever. It's funny. You never really get the context of like how his wife had passed or how him and Amir had built that relationship.
Right, right.
But like, you know, going forward, Amir probably has like this high respect of him, that, you know, he's like this person that's like was super integral into the fine dining scene of Portland.
Right, and it's not till like halfway through the movie before he even realizes that he's been dealing with somebody who was not just a truffle farmer.
Hmm. But like a culinary genius possibly,
Right,
right?
right.
And like the scene with like him and Derek was like hilarious, but it's also like very like, well, why are you doing the things that you're doing? You know, you should care about what you're putting out there versus just trying to be this pretentious fucking chef. And that like that message he tells him, he's like, yeah, we only have a few things that we get to care about, really. It was like a nice message.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, you know, sometimes I try to find like some merits in like the 1 out of 10s, but I just think maybe just like, you know, this movie possibly, or most likely just wasn't really for you. You know, maybe you haven't had those moments where you can kind of relate to. I just want to live in a mountain and just be by myself. Because if you ever had to work customer service in any way, shape, or form, yeah, there's definitely moments you're just like, fuck it. Is there a mountain I could just live on and never have to talk to another person ever again? Or only
Yeah.
talk to the people that really matter to me, and then I could just fuck off back again when I'm lonely, so let me go see my friends or whatever, and then I'll come back to my mountain. Yeah, no, I really is there any parts that like really was like your favorite?
Um, I like the whole the little Fight Club scene. That was like super memorable, and like yeah, I could totally understand the frustration. But yeah, like there was a lot of like the when the when the dad is eating the food and he only takes a couple bites and then takes a little bit of wine and he kind of breaks down, like it there's something in like food or smells or
Yeah.
certain sounds that like really can trigger like past emotions,
Yeah.
and like it's just amazing, like that scene to me like portrayed that so well. Like this was the last meal that I had with my wife that we were happy with, and somehow somebody remembered exactly what it was, and that that entire time period come flooding back.
Oh yeah. I love those scenes too because like I think a lot of like Asian cinema does that where they're like crying and eating. But yeah, like, you know, it's yeah, that's such a great like that was like such a great scene too because like yeah, like certain songs will trigger that for you with like people, like places, obviously, freaking especially dinners, like food can
Right.
trigger that. That could, you know, totally take you out of those foods, or it could totally bring you back to a moment where like yeah, life was really great. And that was
I
yeah.
because even there's like a little restaurant that's pretty close to my house, and I always like I absolutely love that restaurant, and then like when I think about it, it's like the food is just average, but like the atmosphere, the people that work there,
Mm,
I just always seem to have like a really great time.
yeah.
And so when I leave, I'm like, this restaurant's fantastic
Mm,
because everything kind of wraps together.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Man, I don't really have that. I don't have a restaurant I'm particularly fond of, but you know, it's just been chronically single, so. But no, we're coming up to our hour. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for joining us. If this is the first time you're joining us, make sure to check all of our other months down below. We have a bunch out there for you. We have holiday theme months. We have actor theme months. We have obviously theme months. So there's definitely out there something out
And
there
we
for
actually
you.
have a whole Nicolas Cage month
Oh, I know. I feel like
on its own.
we might have to revisit that. You know. But we do reviews in 4 different sections. We have streaming, DVD, Blu-ray, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Kobe, where are you at for this one?
I don't know what you'd get extra for an ultimate box, but if it was anything, I would do that. This movie is fantastic. I absolutely love this movie. I would share this with people. Yeah, anybody who's out there, just go watch it.
Yeah, same for me.
It's almost we almost gave you too much because it's kind of a movie that you'll appreciate more going in pretty blind.
I think I would go Blu-ray for this one as well. I think it's a nice like change of pace, obviously, for Nicolas Cage to do, because he always tends to do very outlandish movies, and this is probably one of his most grounded movies. Of someone dealing with depression and all that stuff, and he does it. He goes only full Cage in like 3 seconds, which I totally forgot about that scene too, where he just absolutely does the Nick Cage yell at a kid. He's like, "This is my bike." Oh man, but yeah, no, I definitely would love this in my collection to just have. He's like, "Pig, you haven't seen that? All right, let's watch it."
Yeah, and then the review I read was like totally like this should win an Oscar. It did not get nominated for Oscars or Golden Globes.
Shame,
but it did get like a whole bunch of like Florida Film Festival, Las Vegas Film Festival, San Diego Film Festival nominated him. Best Actor, Best Film. Didn't win a lot. A lot of almost every small film festival gave a nomination, and most of them won for outstanding achievement in a first-time feature film for the director. Couple places, Las Vegas did give Nick Cage the winner for Best Actor of the Year.
Nice.
But a lot of them were where they have a best first-time director.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I gotta look up the director to see, to keep an eye out on the movies that he's gonna do in the future.
Yeah.
But no, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out our links down below where we have all our social medias.
We got our Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're everywhere.
All right, thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check out the theme music, it is Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on our album, Use Her Podcast 3, and her Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.